Hello, welcome back to the CommerceCast. My name is Todd Baltz.
I'm Mark Holt.
We're glad to see you. This week's episode features a very special new president at Riverbank, Miss Amy Jumper. Is that right, Mark?
Amy Jumper. Amy has been with the bank for about 12 years, and as of February 1st was promoted to President of Operations for all three branches of Riverbank.
So she's seen y'all
four
move.
branches if you count the two in Pocahontas. So big job, but she's very well experienced for it, and it's going to go great. So had a chance to sit down with Amy and talk to her about her promotion, but also her personal life, her upbringing, how she started in banking, and her family and her church that are important to her. So it's a good conversation. Hope
it sounds like she has a lot of high integrity as involved as she is in her church.
A wonderful person. Yep.
Well, remember to send us an email at CommerceCastPod if you have any questions for our previous guests, ideas for future guests, and we look forward to seeing your comments and hearing your feedback. And take a listen to our episode with Amy Jumper, President of Riverbank in Pocahontas, Arkansas.
Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoy it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's CommerceCast for the Randolph County Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Mark Holt, always with Todd Baltz, our producer. And today we have a very special guest, the President of Riverbank in Pocahontas, Mrs. Amy Jumper. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Thanks for coming here and being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So I just announced that you are the newly appointed President of Riverbank for our three locations here in Arkansas. So congratulations.
Thank you.
It has been, I think, not near the end of your journey, but it's been quite a journey thus far. So what I'd like to do is just start off by talking a little bit about you and from where you come from and, you know, how you got to where you are now and maybe what's in the future and stuff and what you like to do in your spare time. So tell us a little bit about what your upbringing was and where do you come from?
Well, I was born and raised in Walnut Ridge, Hoxie area. Then I went to Black River Technical College for my degree and stuff. Really, my first banking job was in '98 with Planters Stockmen Bank, which is Frank Walden.
Sure.
It was Frank Walden's.
Was that just like a I need a job, so I'm just going to go apply for places? And
yeah,
that's what came back? Or were you, from day one, were you like, I'm going to work at a bank?
So I actually was thinking I was going to go into accounting.
Okay.
It's kind of what I felt comfortable with. And I actually just replied to a help wanted ad. And it happened to be for a loan assistant.
Okay.
I've been in the loan department ever since.
Now, that's the bank that's now, I guess, First Horizon?
Yes.
Is that where the building was when you started? Okay. So you started with Planters Stockmen, Frank Walden. I did not know the man. I've heard lots about him, lots of stories about him over the time. Know his son, John, of course, who works with us. But so you get in there kind of day one and culture shock, or?
It was
like
busy work.
Or what?
It was busy work.
Yeah.
I didn't realize just how busy it was. It touched on everything. So I guess you could say I found my passion with that you never knew what you were going to do.
Yeah.
Everything was new every day. So that's kind of what I enjoy.
And so you were loan assistant at that time? That's where you got hired on?
Yes.
So immediately went into the fray of loan customers coming in from everything from, homes to cars to ATVs to cattle to whatever, anything under the sun?
That's right. That's right. At the time, Gerald Summit was the president. Yeah. He was a wealth of knowledge. I enjoyed getting information from him. I took in anything I could get from Frank and from Gerald. And John Phillips was the main loan officer that I worked with, and it was a lot of good information that I learned from those guys.
So that was from '98 until when?
I guess until I left going to Liberty Bank when I worked for Wallace Fowler.
I guess that was just as you grow. Maybe you started in 1998 at Planters Stockmen's. Were you married then?
I was not.
You were not? So
I was not.
somewhere in there you start a family. What give me some details about that.
So I'm married to James Jumper, and he's kind of from the same area. And he is now a school teacher at Greene County Tech.
Art teacher, right?
Teaches art.
He's a great guy. My first interaction with James, or one of the first interactions with James, was I have a building that at one time just was full of old storage, and I would call it junk, but I suppose James would probably contest me on that. But somehow, I guess through talking to you or something, word got back to James that I had a building full of metal and junk, and he came and got a lot of it because of some, I guess, a blacksmithing hobby or something they had.
Blacksmithing, anything's a project.
I learned that early on about James, and he's very creative. So I mean it's neat to see that somebody can. What I would see is just something that's in the way or laying around. He's like, I can turn that into a real piece of art, and he has done so with several things that I've seen that you've showed me, and also a great artist and painter. So, but you've known him, I guess, since he's from the same area. You knew him before.
We actually started dating in high school.
There you go, high school sweethearts.
So, yeah. We dated for 7 years. I guess this will be 25 years of marriage.
Oh, congratulations! Yeah. So that happened in between Planters and Stockmen's and Liberty, or was that when?
So I started Planters and Stockmen in '98. Went to Liberty. I don't remember. Maybe 2000, maybe.
Couple of years.
Okay. I was at Planters and Stockmen a couple of years, and then I came to work at Riverbank for Kyle in Mark. I don't remember.
That would have been 2014.
14. Yeah. Yes, 14.
So going from Planters and Stockmen to Liberty, so going from the Pocahontas market to the Jonesboro market at that time, early 2000s, was that a big shift in kind of dynamics or culture shock in the types of lending you were working on and types of projects you were working on in Pocahontas versus Jonesboro? Or by that time, was it kind of all homogenous and just another day,
Yeah, it was really just another day. Honestly, going to say going to Liberty was probably a little bit easier because, at Planters and Stockmen Bank, which at the time I was there, it became First Community Bank because they had bought Bank of Tuckerman and changed the name. But, and they were bought up by Pocahontas Federal.
Sure. So you went to Liberty, and what I wanted to ask you about Liberty was, I know from my world, there's been lots of mentors that have greatly influenced my trajectory or what I've decided to go, next steps. And you and I have talked a little bit about in the past about some of the mentors you've had in your time banking. So just wanted to touch on that. Can you recall some of the people that have helped you form into the banker that you are today and what that meant to you?
Yeah, I would say number one was Frank Walden. I liked the way, when you talk to him, he wasn't ever just in the moment for that day. He's seen 5 years, 10 years down the road. So he helped me take on that vision too. You've got to look into the future. Don't just, the decisions you make today, what will that be in 5 years and in 10 years? So I would say a lot goes back to Frank. But, at Liberty, Mark Fowler, John Freeman, those were some really great guys that I learned a lot from. And it's a different knowledge from different people. You can kind of add that all together.
Well, and I think different mentors. I knew John Freeman a little bit. I've known lots of bankers for sure, so I know that all of them have kind of their particular personalities, and some are more of salespeople, some are more accountants, bean counters and that kind of thing. So I do know there's lots of different flavors there. What category would you put yourself in as far as just your natural groove of finance? Are you more accountant in your practice, or are you more of a salesperson, I guess, in drumming up business and getting something going? What would you think that your specialty is?
I like the accountant side of it because, that's originally what I wanted to go into. But I don't know, for me, and I think that's what I like about Riverbank, is trying to give those people that haven't had a chance, the new people coming in for the first time to get their loan, is giving them that chance and kind of making it happen for them, kind of watching them develop.
So, and that happens every day. I can serve as a witness to that those people are coming in and you are trying to figure out a way to help everybody that comes to that door with sound banking practices.
That's right.
This is not a fly by the seat of the pants kind of operation there. But okay, so you go from Liberty, and you've told me stories before about some of the action that you experienced there. But you were there until sometime in the mid 20-teens when you decided to come to Riverbank. How'd that?
Yeah, it was May of 2014.
May of 2014. Yeah. How'd that come about?
Actually, one of the loan officers that I knew at Liberty came over to, I guess, to help at Riverbank. And he gave Kyle my name and said, talk to her. So, I mean, there were months, it felt like months, maybe it was just weeks, that Kyle and I would kind of go back and forth. And, you know, at the time, I'd been at Liberty for 10, 11 years. And I'm not someone to jump from thing to thing, you know, and so I was like, man, do I really want to lose that 11 years? And, you know, now I'm going on 12 years, 11 years at, you know, Riverbank. But it was a good move.
Obviously, good move, yeah.
And Kyle is another one of those that I like getting as much knowledge from him as I can.
Absolutely. So it started in 2014. I remember some early conversations I had with both you and Kyle. Of course, I come from the investment banking side, so it was a little bit of a culture shock for me of commercial banking versus investment banking. But once I got there, easily could see how critical of a role that you played in the loan department there. Started in 2014 as, I guess, loan operations manager, right?
I did.
And so what does a loan operations manager do?
I kind of oversee the loan officers, kind of doing the review to make sure that all of the underwriting is done, all of the information is accurate as it needs to be for examiners once we do the loan, you know, for examiners to come in, make sure nothing's missing. And at the time when I first started, you know, we were a lot smaller then. And I was able to look and review every single loan that closed just to make sure that everything was done according to, you know, our policies and stuff.
Wrote some policies as well, didn't you?
I did. Try to keep all of that stuff together.
So in banking in, you know, let's say rural Arkansas, or I guess they call them markets or this region kind of stuff, you know, we do a lot of ag loans. That's kind of bread and butter, right? We do some home loans, but kind of anybody with an idea can come in and apply for a loan. What do you think is what is the sweet spot for this area? If you see this loan coming through the door, you're like, yeah, give me all that you can, you know, kind of stuff. So,
well, as a banker,
what's your favorite type of loan to do? I guess would be
as a banker, you say you want those CD loans.
CD loans, yeah, there you go.
That's the most secure loans.
Safe and steady as she goes. Yeah.
No, really, I think we value any kind of loan that comes through that door.
Yeah.
But I mean, we are heavy in ag, in the row crop, and the poultry. We have a lot of poultry now. Even those consumer auto loans, you know, those were just as important as a row crop.
I remember when I first got to the bank, I've been there about 11 years too. We hardly ever did a car loan because the dealership had much more, I don't want to say better, because it wasn't, but they were more flexible, I guess. They had more options for a borrower to just finance the dealership. And I've been amazed how much that has changed in these last 10 years or so, that now if I'm buying a car, which I don't want to do because of the cost, but if I were, I would first and foremost look at a bank. Of course, a side-by-side, an ATV now costs, in many cases, you know, as much as a vehicle. Some of those are some pretty big loans.
They are.
So we do, and we do lots of poultry loans. That was the first. That's what intrigued me about coming back home from Little Rock. That's right when Pico was coming around, and
it was.
Did you think whenever we first heard that you know poultry was going to be a big industry here that it would have that much of an impact on the bank?
I think I was surprised on just how many came into this area. But I mean, you think about how much country we've got, you know, and you know they're building out in the country in Smithville, and got quite a few in Smithville, some
Yeah,
in
me too.
Maynard out that way.
I don't know if the decision was made late last year or early this year. I suspect it was made some time ago, and but was just recently announced. So happy to announce to our watchers and listeners that as of January 1st, as of very recently, Amy has been named the president of Riverbank. So, Madam President, is your bulletproof limo outside there to where it carts you around?
Officially be February 1st.
February 1st.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So not even a month into it, but I can attest, having worked with you for some time, well deserved. And I think it was wonderful news to hear there. So what do you think about that as now your role is this? What does that give you in direction for when you come into work every morning now?
Well, I guess looking back, I was surprised, when Kyle and Jeremy, the board, had named me president. I was surprised with the title. But looking back, I mean, I see that they had been guiding me in that direction. So really, I mean, today, I don't feel like it puts any more weight on me. I'm still doing what I'm best at doing.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at those loans and helping our employees get the best that we can get out of them.
Well, and I think that's the right way to look at it is you have work to do. So the title is wonderful and well deserved, but it's not where you're going to hang your hat at the end of the day. You still got work to do. But anytime you hear something of this type of promotion, people naturally think of, okay, well now it's the era of Amy Jumper, president, or Trump of the United States, whatever you want. Anytime somebody's in a big role like that, so. And then they start talking about that legacy that you want to leave. I mean, probably a little early for you to have your legacy lined out, but just what are some things that you think about strategically for the future Riverbank that you would like your team to work on?
I think the most important thing, and like I said, I mean, we've already been trying to gear ourselves towards that direction. Just kind of bring it, and it's been this way for any bank. It's the loan department, or it's the deposit department, or it's the trust. Mm-hmm. Trying to bring it all together. I mean, we are one team. Mm-hmm. It truly, we are making changes. We've got a lot of new people coming. We just had a new processor to come in. We're fixing to have another loan officer to join our team and everything. So we are growing, and we built the branch in Paragould now.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that too. That's I remember as a teenager, so that's back in the mid '90s, going to Paragould for dinner. I thought it was the same size town as Pocahontas. Of course, I was not paying much attention, so I wasn't looking real close. But Paragould has just shocked me at how much it's grown over the last few decades. And so we have a branch there now, and I just think the opportunity there is exponential. I don't even know what it could be. It's so outstanding in my mind of what that branch could potentially mean for our future there. But I'm sure that's the kind of stuff that you think about, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to bring in the future. Got some good people there already, but just I was there this week for not at our branch, but at a closing, a loan closing there. So got to drive by and see it. It's in a good location and spot and all that. So what's some plans for you there?
Really, I mean, we went into it with the mindset of the reason why our building is where it's at, and is we want the community to know, we're there to stay. We're a local community bank, whether it's Pocahontas or it's Paragould or Corning. Mm-hmm. We just want it to be there for the community. We've got the branch here in Pocahontas, the one in Paragould. When we built it, we've got a community room, and we want it to be there for our community to use however they need to use it.
I saw somebody was using our community room here in Pocahontas, at our Pocahontas branch, a couple weekends ago, and I thought I'd been disinvited to a party. There's a bunch of people, a good bunch of cars in the parking lot. So that's a good place to have an event. And I've been to the one in Paragould too. Same thing there. Hope the communities embrace that and use it to their advantage. You mentioned community, and I can again vouch for you there too. Know you very well. You are very much community minded in both your career and in your home life, I think, as much as I can tell. What are some of your interests outside of banking?
Outside of banking, James and I stay busy with our church. Yeah. We, up until recently, we kind of wrangled our church kids. They're not just church kids; they're our kids too.
Yeah.
So we take them on mission trips and try to take them out of their comfort zone, get them comfortable with, being up there.
Comfortable being uncomfortable.
Exactly. Never too late to teach them early.
Right.
Yeah.
For several years, you went out west with your church on a
We did.
mission trip to an Indian reservation, right?
We did.
That I was always so interested to hear when you come back to what y'all got into when you were out there, kind of stuff. So share us a little bit about what those trips looked like and what you were trying to accomplish on those trips.
So every July, we would go out there. We'd meet up with the church in Morrilton, Arkansas. And between our church and their church, we would have 70 plus people that would go with us. And we'd go to Gallup, New Mexico, to a children's home out there. And it was a children's home. It was the Menulito's children's home. They had their own school. Everybody had their house parents and everything. And but the reason why we'd go in July is because they would have this big rodeo. The word big doesn't even compare to what it really is. I was shocked. They would tell us, be prepared that first time, be prepared. It's big. Yeah, we were not prepared. It was huge.
I mean, rodeo out there is like Razorback stuff here, right? I mean, it's their main focus, I guess.
It is. It is. Here you think rodeo, you're thinking you got the barrel racing, you've got there. It's bulls. I mean, it's bull riding, and so anyway, we would go. We take our kids. The girls would go work the concession stand, and the boys would go park cars.
How many kids are we talking about here? You want to take?
We'd have 70 altogether, but there were
how many?
70 people that would go. But out of the 70, we probably had 50, 55 that were kids. So the rest of us were adults that would go. It was a lot. But the reason why we'd go to the rodeo is because the owner of the facility was a member of the church, and he would take that, and that was one of their biggest rodeos, and he would donate the money to the children's home.
Okay.
So it was the biggest fundraiser for the children's home. So we would go work concession, park cars. Those poor guys, they parked cars. They were the human traffic cones. And the stories they could tell after every trip too.
And that was a whole week, right? You go out there for a week at a time?
We would go for a whole week. The rodeo was 2 days.
Okay.
So we'd go down. We'd do Friday night and Saturday night. And it was fast paced. You never had a chance to rest while you were working the rodeo.
I remember you telling me stories about on occasion, or some years y'all would like paint the entire community room or something like that. There's no telling what you'd be up to. You're feeding how many people, and then everybody grab a paintbrush and you're painting, just absolutely hands-on the whole time there.
So the people would know we were coming, and it was whatever they needed help with outside. We do the rodeo, but then afterwards we would, whatever the children's home needed. Being in New Mexico with the heat and everything, our worst one, the kids hated it when they said, we need something painted, because that meant you had to scrape the paint and then repaint it. And it was the scraping of the paint.
Is not as easy as it sounds. It can take a while.
And there were times that, they would get to build a deck on a house. There was one year we surprised them with, we took up donations because they had refinished a house. They had remodeled a house and they were getting new house parents. And we surprised them with a donation of as much stuff as we could get. And we had a semi-truck go out with us. And we had all the appliances and food and everything, had everything for that.
Yeah.
And laid flooring. That was probably the worst. Besides the paint scraping, it was laying that floor through the whole house.
So I don't think you mentioned at the beginning of this there, what is the name of your church?
Hoxie Church of Christ.
Hoxie Church of Christ. And give me a guesstimate on the amount of parishioners that go there. How many people attend?
About 150.
Okay. My point in that is are you taking about half of your whole congregation out on mission trips, coordinating all this from Hoxie, Arkansas, a little small community-minded church, and I just have always been amazed about how involved and committed you are with your church. And I hope it serves as inspiration to other people about how it's not about, you don't have to be a mega church. You don't have to be, you have to have a heart of service, and you have to be willing to go out there and get your sleeves rolled up and get to it. The Lord can use you in any way, shape, or form if you're willing. So I've always thought that was great. I've never been to your church, but I'm a big fan. So you've got some children as well, right?
I do.
know these little youngsters. So you've got a Saluki, I know that.
Yep. Cadence is in her second year and recently got into the dentistry program.
Program. Well, we know about that too.
Next semester starts all of her dentistry classes.
Good. Well, I know a dentist or two that she can shadow whenever she gets that down to that point of it there. But yeah, my dad was a dentist for 40-something years, I guess. So it's a good profession. I was supposed to become a dentist, but there's this little small detail class in college called chemistry that you kind of needed to be good at to go into dentistry, and I was sadly not.
So when Cadence was little, we blame our dentist's daughter. So we went to Bruce Taylor in Jonesboro. So my kids go to CRA, and Bruce, his kids went to CRA. His wife is a nurse at the school and everything. And so whenever we would go to the dentist, here Cadence was, 3-4 years old, and they'd let her use that foot pedal section, to section your mouth or whatever, and she was running that foot pedal. And she's told us since she was little bitty that she was going to be in the dentistry field.
All because of the cool chair, huh?
Yeah.
Inspired by the chair. And then you got a son as well.
I do. Yeah. Ian is in the 8th grade. So
Is he a future banker?
He doesn't know. And Cadence is funny because Cadence is always after him. Anytime she comes home now, what is your plans? What are you going to do when you get out of school? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just in 8th grade. You got to be thinking about this.
It'll happen quick.
So she's stressing out it a whole lot more than he is.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be fine. He's a good boy. I wonder all the time about what my kids are going to get into there. And at first, I want my kids to go into something, astronaut or something like that, But not too long ago, my oldest said that, I said, what do you think you're going to do when you get out of school? And he's like, I figure I'll do what you're doing. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. So, well, we appreciate you coming on today. Thanks for sitting down with us. What we want to do is, again, promote the community members in our town and in this county and anywhere we have a presence there. So we are very proud of you and hope that you'll come back and visit with us on occasion and tell us what's going on with Riverbank and your church and everything that's going on in your life. So don't be a stranger. And anybody that wants to come and hear more about Amy, she's at 203 West Broadway here at Riverbank in Pocahontas, and she'd be glad to say hi to you. She's wonderful. So as with all of our guests, we have producer Todd likes to ask a question. If you will, Todd.
Hello, Amy. Nice to meet you. One thing of this podcast, as Mark mentioned, is trying to promote community involvement and engagement in networks. As a banker, that's important for you and your business. So what's one business or organization or individual you like to give a shout out to, promote, say, hey, you're doing a good job, you should come on the show, or just you want to say, thank you for doing a good hard work in our community?
What comes to mind first for me is when we were talking about church, we have a young guy. He's a associate minister at our church. He is leading a new program for our youth, and he's kind of opened it up for the whole community. So it's
What's
called
his name?
Ethan Leslie.
Okay,
and
Ethan Leslie.
It is called Keeping Evangelism Youthful. So we call it KEY, but we've got a conference coming up in April.
Where is that conference at?
So it's hosted by our church. Our church is too small. So we are using Grace Point Church of Christ in Jonesboro.
Awesome.
So he would be a good person for y'all to talk to.
Keeping Evangelism Youthful. KEY. That's like a good acronym.
That's all, James. And Ethan.
There you go. There's that creativity, right? So Ethan Leslie.
Yes.
Well, well done, Ethan. Keep up the good work. We'll reach out to you and have you on here, and you can tell us more. Amy, thank you for being with us. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
The CommerceCast is a production of Fox Lion Studios. We are hosted by Mark Holt and Todd Baltz. Our executive producers are, also Todd Baltz and Mark Holt. Special thanks to the Randolph County Chamber of Commerce. Music provided by AGI. You can find links to everything we discussed today in the show notes. If you have a question or a topic idea, email us at commercecastpod@gmail.com. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really helps new listeners find us. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time right here in the studio. Thanks for listening.